Natalia, and even though I sliced open one of my fingers for my other hand, I want to make a set of winter-themed icicle nails. So I'm going to be making them on some medium stiletto tips. And so let's get going. So here's what we're going to be using today. I'm going to be using two different things of the Crazy Top, the soft and the thick. I'm going to be using some blooming gel. This is just the Mei Chow brand I got on Amazon once upon a time. I'm going to be using the Peach MB01, the milky white from that collection from Mayo Korea. I'm going to be using the Rosy Hip RM09, it's a magnetic polish. I'm going to be using the Born Pretty Moonlight White Cat Eye polish and the Show Me Korea QS01 from the Que Sera Sera collection. In addition, I'm going to be using some gold iridescent powder. I have these little gold snowflake charms I'm going to be using. And I'm also going to be putting on a couple AB rhinestones that I got here. So just little ones. So yeah, and then that's basically all the supplies you're going to need for these icicle nails. And yep. So let's get started making some nails. So first up, we got to prep the tip. So I'm using these medium stilettos. I don't normally use these because I prefer a more rounded tip, but for icicles, these seemed pretty useful, pretty on point, haha, pun. And I'm just, first off, just filing the edges and to make sure that there's none of the little nubby things on the edge of them and make sure that they go to a nice point since they are going to be icicle nails. So that's the first thing I'm doing. And then after that, as with always, I'm going to be taking a buffer and buffing all of the nails so that they are matte. You want to go till there's absolutely no shine left on any of them. These are soft gel nails, so you can go straight in with the gel after you buff them up, which is good because these nails have quite a few layers on them. Just a pre-warning for people who are thinking of making these. If you have a problem with like feeling like bumps or textures on your nails, these are probably not the nails for you. They're very cool looking, but they do have a lot of 3D texture to them to like mimic icicles. You'll see as we go along. So after you finish buffing, take some isopropyl alcohol and you're going to wipe off all of the nails to get any of that dust off. And we are ready to start making the nails. So for the base coat, I'm using the Mayo Korea MB01. It's from the Peach collection. Any real like milky white will do, but I really like how very white this one is. It's a very cool toned white, which really works for the rest of the set that I'm doing. So we're just only going to be putting one coat of this because we don't actually need it to be super like, you know, solid. It can be transparent. This is just the base of our icicle here. You're going to do a nice even coat on every single nail. And now that that one's done, we are going to stick it all in our lamp for a full 60-second cure. So let's go. All right, so we're going to need 3 products for this next step. Some blooming gel, this blue gel, I'm using a magnetic RM09. You can just use regular blue if you want. And a glitter gel, so the QS01 from Show Me Korea. I'm going to put the blue and the glitter down on my palette. And put it down there. And then you're going to take the blooming gel and you're going to put a nice thin layer on your nails. We're going to need a liner brush to go with this. You take your blooming gel. I've heard people also use base coat for this, but I have this bottle of blooming gel. You want to put a nice thin layer on your nail. Make sure you get everything. next take a liner brush and you're going to pick up some of that glitter and you're just going to kind of like swirl it over the nail. It doesn't need to be precise or anything. The blooming gel will also help it sort of like bleed around. And you're going to take the blue and you're going to do the same thing. You're just going to make little swirls, swirl it together. And the blooming gel really helps this like move around and start to spread. Get it to something that it just needs to look sort of interesting and marbled. And since I did use the magnetic gel, the Rosy Hip gel, I'm going to take a magnet and just magnetize it a little. But this is totally optional because you don't even need to use magnet gel. I was just being extra for no reason. And once you're happy with how it's bloomed, you just want to flash cure it in place before continuing and doing the exact same thing on all the rest of the nails. So swirl, swirl, swirl. You can put as much glitter and blue as you like. And then flash cure it into place. The nice part about this set of nails is that they're all the same and they're incredibly beginner friendly. These were really easy to do because you don't need to be super precise or have great, like straight line work or anything. So these have a really good, like, fancy look payoff to actual, practice needed ability. So magnetizing it, freezing it in place. And it was at this point that I realized that I had made the blue a little too intense for my liking on the pinky. So I'm going back in with the base color and just sort of like adding it over a few of the darker parts just to lighten it up a bit. Cause I just thought it didn't quite match the rest of the nails. I had put like a bit too blue. So I'm just doing that. Just sort of swirling around with a bit more glitter just to hide some of make it a little bit less intensely blue, shall we say. And then once you're happy with how these all look, you are going to also put this back in for another full cure. So next up, we're going to be doing a magnetic layer on all of these. So I'm taking the white magnetic gel, or white or silver will work perfectly fine. I like ones that are a lot more on the silky side, and this one is surprisingly like not super glittery when it's magnetized. So you just put it on the nail, and then you're going to take a nice strong magnet, and you're going to magnetize each side so it pushes them sort of the middle. But you can just sort of move it around. You want it to have like an interesting look because, icicles, they really reflect light in super interesting ways. So just sort of move the particles around with your magnet until you're happy, and then flash cure to freeze that look into place. And then you're going to do that on every single one of the nails. Magnetize. I love the way cat eye gels look when they magnetize. They're so cool. Beautiful. And then once you've got everything magnetized to your liking and flash cured into place, yet again, you want to stick it under your full-size lamp for a full 60-second cure. Look how shiny they are. Ah, love them. All right. Now we're going to do like the chrome powder texture. So you're going to be taking your Crazy Top Thick and a liner brush, and you're just going to scoop out a glob. I find like rotating the brush really helps the strings connect to it. And then you just want to make like some 3D swirls on the nail. Now these don't have to be perfect. You want them to be asymmetrical. You want them to be, a little all over the place. Because if you've ever looked at an icicle, like they have like bumps and curves that aren't, perfectly aligned. So that's what we're mimicking here. So you just want to make some little 3D texture to make the nails sort of bumpy and interesting looking. And then once you've got like a texture that you're happy with, I like to flip it upside down so that they're settling, making more of a 3D texture as it settles a bit. Cover up your gel, and then flash cure that into place so you can do the rest of the nails and it won't move. We're gonna flash here. And then you're gonna repeat that with all the same nails. You want them to have different textures. You want the different swirls going in different directions. Each nail should be unique and different because every icicle is unique and different. I find that like the 3D gel does take a little bit of practice to get like, you know, super precise, you know, applications of it. So doing things like this where you're just doing, you know, you're getting a feel for how it moves with the brush and stuff without needing to be super precise and still getting a nice set of nails at the end is really quite helpful. You're gonna flash cure that. And the last nail here, you can see, and I find that moving the nail, like twirling it as you spin, really does help with it. So you can practice, you know, like exploring how the thickness affects the texture and everything, while not having to be precise or perfect. Flash cured into place. And then once you have all of these looking good and flash cured, stick it under your lamp for a full 60-second cure. Grab out your Crazy Top Soft, and we are going to put a thin layer over the entire nail for every single nail. This is going to have two purposes. One, it'll sort of like smooth out and make a very unified look to all of the 3D textures, but also we are providing the base to stick our chrome powder on, because we are going to put the iridescent chrome powder over this. So we're pulling this down. You just want to do a very nice, just a nice thin, even coverage on each nail. I think these nails would be really showstoppery for like a Christmas party or the like. They look so incredible in real life. I wish I could actually capture on camera how amazing these look in reality. Like to the naked eye, they're unbelievable. So once you've got everything nicely coated in the Crazy Top Soft or whatever non-wipe top coat that you have, you can do this with any product that you have, as long as it's a non-wipe top coat. You're going to stick it in the lamp for 30 seconds only. So a half cure. Because we are going to be putting powder on it. So I'm taking this gold toned iridescent powder. So it's not like a solid gold, but it has like a gold reflect sheen to it. I have it in a little chrome home here with its own sponge. And the way that I do these is I first just tap it onto all the nails. So you just refill the brush, the sponge when you need. Tap it onto all the nails. Only sort of rubbing it in. It will stick very easily if you have half cured your, your top coat. And then once that's on there, you can put away your chrome so you don't spill it, because I know me as a person, and if I don't immediately cover it, I will spill it. And I'm taking a fluffy brush and I'm just brushing off the loose powder. And then I'm going to take a larger makeup sponge and really like burnish that into there. This is the way that I find it works super, super well. So burnish, 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 burnish. And then the final step you want to do on these chrome nails before sealing them in, they look incredible, is to take a file and you want to file around all of the edges of the nails, because we want to leave a little gap without powder around the edge of the nails so that the coating on top, like the gel that you put on top of it, has something to adhere to, like the gel underneath, because gel doesn't love adhering to chrome powder, which is why if you don't do this step, often it'll chip. The top coat will chip away. So we want to do this, where we file around all the edges to leave it bare of chrome around the edges. Very important. And then with the brush again, I'm just brushing off any dust from the filing. And then you want to seal this in. I am using I have a secondary thing of Crazy Top Soft Top Coat that I use only for doing chrome. I have it in like a smaller container. I'm almost out, as you can see. And I use this only for, you know, chrome and iridescent powders, just in case. You don't want to contaminate, you know, your actual top coat. So I do recommend having 2 separate top coats for these sort of applications. And you just want to do a nice thin top coat layer. And you can stop after this. Like, you can top coat it, cure it, and you can be done. They look incredible, but I wanted to add a little bit of, you know, a few embellishments, a little bit of bling. So that is what we are going to do next. Once you finish top coating, put it in for a full cure. Okay, so I have these really nice little gold snowflake charms that I got on AliExpress that are quite nice. So I wanted to put like 2 of these on 2 of the nails. And then I wanted to put some like AB rhinestones just to add a little bit more glitz and glamour, as it were, because these are very sparkly nails. So I got these AB rhinestones. So I'm using the Ivy Fix Gel. And this is okay on the middle. Definitely on the thumb, but I think I'll actually put it on the ring finger instead of the middle finger. Yeah, let's do this. So I finally did get rhinestone glue. So I just dip the charm into it, let it drip off a little bit, and then stick it where I want on the nail. And then using a liner brush, I'm going to get a little bit of the rhinestone glue, and I'm going to stick it where I want to put the rhinestones. And then I'm just going to use that same brush to pick up the rhinestones out of the container and stick them on top of the gel. You can also use a rhinestone picker if you have one, but I find this works really well. And my liner brushes have like this pointed end that I find super useful for pushing charms and rhinestones around into place. But you can just use tweezers or, you know, whatever. Get those into place. And then once you have it, cover up your rhinestone gel and flash cure them into place so that they don't move before you put all of them in. And we're going to repeat this on the ring finger. So dipping in the charm, finding where I want to stick it on the nail. These little charms, I'll link them down below. They have like a really nice subtle curve to them, which makes it quite nice to stick on. If this was a flatter nail, it would be perfect. Like there wouldn't even be like a gap. But since it has like the 3D texture, you still gotta, figure out the best way to put it on. We're gonna stick a few rhinestones onto there. And then again, once you're happy with the placement, once you've moved everything where you want it to be, take a pin cure lamp, flash cure it into place so it doesn't move while you finish the rest. And for the rest, I'm just going to stick a few of the little mini rhinestones just here and there, just to add a little extra sparkle. I'm sort of pretending they're like, ice crystals stuck to the icicles. But I just like rhinestones. I just think extra sparkle is always nice. We're going to stick those on. And then once you're happy, flash cure them into place. And then when you're done all the nails, stick them in for a full cure. Now, I like to be super careful with my metal charms, so I always top coat over them. So I'm using the Crazy Top Soft, my non-chrome variant here. And I'm just going to top coat over everything. Normally, I probably wouldn't fully top coat over the rhinestones, but I feel like this sort of adds them as just like a little point of sparkle when you're doing the metal charms, with metal charms, I like to always top coat over them, metal and plastic ones, because they can easily tarnish with like hand washing or rubbing against things. So, and also you want to get gel all around like any edges or crevices so they don't stick in hair, you know, that sort of thing. They'll get caught on stuff. And then this just further sort of unifies all the textures and gets everything evened out. And then once you've got it fully covered with top coat, you want to stick it in for a full cure. And these nails are ready to wear, baby. And before I put them in the lamp, I do like to flip them over just so that any gel that may have pooled towards the edges pools back towards the center of the nails. All right, stick them in the lamp for a full cure, and they're done. So yeah, these were the icicle nails. They were extremely easy and quick to make. I think a beginner could easily make these nails, as long as you have similar supplies. They look incredible. They're gorgeous, and I think they would really be great for the holidays. Yeah. Even if I did slice open my finger on my left hand, so I can only wear nails on my right hand for right now, but they do look very beautiful. So thank you for hanging out with me. I'll be back next week with another set of Christmassy nails. And I hope you have a fantastic week. And, you know, maybe let me know what you thought and if you would make these nails yourself. Anyway, I'll see you next time. Bye!